different organizations pay certain allowances to their staff. So you bring all into the tax bracket or into the tax basket. Then when you finish the cash, then you add that to your basic salary, you get your gross salary, but we want to call it your total cash emolument. Then we come to the non-cash items, which the two areas or the two main ones the law refers to as benefit in kind. And the benefit in kind, we are talking about accommodation benefit, and accommodation benefit comes in the form of accommodation furnished. Okay, so some accommodations are furnished, some of them are unfurnished. So we look at the furnished accommodation and then unfurnished accommodation, and we even look at shared accommodation, because some accommodations are being shared by individuals or the employees. So not all of them, it has the tax rate. Okay, then again we come to the motor vehicle benefit. So the motor vehicle benefit comes in the form of whether you are being provided with a driver, fuel, and then a vehicle itself, or you are provided with a driver and a vehicle but not fuel, or you are provided with fuel only, or you are provided with a driver only. So that also comes in 4 areas. So depending on where you fall, we pick it. But what cuts across is the fuel. At least not all staff or not all employees will earn a driver with a vehicle, or in another way, organizations will only provide fuel for most of their staff, but will provide the vehicle and then the driver to highest ranking officials. Okay, but what cuts across is the fuel. So the fuel, to what I was advising is that you should be able to quantify the fuel, but for the purposes of tax avoidance, okay, it should be in kind. That is good. We've done well. Okay, so the benefits in kind, the one we are centering on is the fuel, because the fuel cut across. Okay, so sometimes fuel, these days when the fuel price was skyrocketing, some organizations, they pegged their fuel allowance to the market rate. So you can earn about 3,000, 4,000, or depending on the number of gallons that is being provided for the individual.
Right there. Lovely viewers, we are still live on El Bebeto TV. We are still discussing important issues about tax. Don't go anywhere. Let's continue with Mr. Gyimah as he gives us a lot of explanation on tax. Let's go, Mr. Gyimah.
Yes. Thank you very much. I believe that today our viewers are getting a lot of tax information to be able to plan their lives,
including me.
Yes,
I've learned so much.
I mean, once you live in this country or in a sovereign country, you have to pay taxes, but you should be able to find your way to navigate around the taxes. Okay, navigation means some point you must avoid it, some too you can't.
How do you avoid tax in this country?
Oh no, there's tax avoidance is legal in the law. Okay, like I said, the first avoidance is that don't earn an income.
Hey,
and
how can you stay in this country and not earn an income? It's impossible.
It's same as the.
Or is it possible to stay in this country and not earn an income?
That's right.
It's virtually impossible to do that.
So that's what I'm saying. That those that they don't earn anything, they don't have anything to do with taxes. So when you just sit down, you don't go anywhere. You are not earning an income. You are good to go. Or if you are business and then you report losses, it means that you didn't earn anything, so you don't pay any taxes.
Okay.
But so far as you are earning money, income here means represent money. Once you are earning something, an economic activity, a viable one, of course. Okay, and usually one of the key characteristics of an effective tax system is that it should be fair. So fairness here means that you pay the equal amount of taxes or the right amount of taxes. And then how will you as an individual or businesses will be able to navigate around the taxes is by first of all knowing the tax laws, okay, or by having a tax advisors to be able to advise you on the tax implications, because every transactions that you do in this country, whether you are buying, whether you are selling, whatever activity that you engage in the business field has some tax implications. So you can only navigate yourself around when you know or you have those information. And I'm happy that, you know, El Bebeto is currently engaging some of us to be able to come on your platform, to be able to let, you know, our viewers, our listeners, those who watch us, know some of the tax information, so that they will help them plan their lives or navigate around it. Okay, so there's tax avoidance and there's tax evasions too. So tax evasion is illegal, but tax avoidance is legal. It means that the tax laws or the tax framework has certain incomes that, you know, they exempt them from taxes, and as the discussion goes forward, we'll be able to bring in. But today we just want to look at how to compute the chargeable income and tax, because that is the fundamentals of the income tax, especially for those in the individual sector, and then those who are also self-employed. So the issue here is that we were taking our viewers through the computation of the taxable income, the chargeable income, and then the likes, because you have to be able to ascertain the chargeable income, which is different from your gross salary, okay, before you be able to subject it to tax. The law has its own mechanics of arriving at the chargeable income, and that is what we are going through. So what I just said, or what we've discussed, is that before you get to the last bottom, which is the chargeable income, you have to look at some 3 areas of income. The first one is your basic salary, okay. Then the basic salary plus cash allowances, you arrive at your gross pay, or what I want to refer, or the law refers to as our total cash emolument. That is basic salary plus allowances, cash allowances. When we finish, we come to benefits in kind, and we said that if you receive a benefit in the form of accommodation or in the form of motor vehicle, these two benefits, you know, have some tax implications. So we look at the treatment of the accommodation and then the motor vehicle. But we were discussing that what cuts across the motor vehicle is the receiving of a fuel allowance or a fuel coupon. And we are saying that to avoid the tax on the fuel, don't receive the fuel in cash basis, but do a coupon system that will only tax your fuel amount, just limited to only 250 cedis, and that's good, because these days you can be paying about 3,000, 3,500, depending on the number of gallons that is being provided to staff. So if you are paying, subjecting all the 3,000 to tax, and the law is only giving you 250, if you treat it as a benefit in kind or a fuel system, you can only tax 250. So that is good for us to be able to do the avoidance and do proper tax planning. Then once we add those two benefits in kind, which is the accommodation and then the motor vehicle, then we arrive at what we call assessable income. It means that your actual income the taxman can assess. But before we arrive at the chargeable income, the law allows what we call personal reliefs, okay. So the personal relief, there is Senate. As an employee, you contribute to Senate.
Are the personal reliefs the same as the tax reliefs?
Yes, the same as the tax reliefs.
Okay.
So after accessible income, okay, where accessible income means the addition of your basic salary plus your allowances plus the benefits in kind. And the benefits in kind, we have accommodation benefits, and then we have the motor vehicle. And the motor vehicle, the key one is the fuel. So when we add all these categories of income, we arrive at accessible income, meaning income that we can access to tax. But before we can finally ascertain or arrive at the chargeable income, the accessible income that we have derived, we have to pass it through what we call tax reliefs, okay, or personal reliefs. So the Income Tax Act 2015 Act 896, which is the framework for our discussion today, allows individuals on certain incomes, okay, give them some relief. Relief means free, or you are exonerated, or you are exempted, that kind of thing. So number one is your Senate. As an individual that you are working, we also contribute to Senate. So the individual or the employee portion of the Senate, which is the 5.5% on our basic that we pay. You know, when it comes to Senate, the computation is that employee contribute 5.5% and employer adds on 13%, making it what, 18.5%. What the employee contributes, the 5.5% portion, the Income Tax Act allows that as what, a relief. So that one will be used to what, reduce what, your assessable income. I hope you get the chemistry there, because we don't want to put all your income to tax. The more you earn, the more you pay. Mind you, it's a payee tax. Okay, so the relief is going to help you reduce your assessable income, then so to say you pay what, a lower tax. So the beauty of tax is that, like I said, it's supposed to be fair. The law is not just only interested in taking the tax, but it should be fair. So it is giving you some form of what, relief. So the first relief is the Senate, and the Senate is limited to the employee portion or the employee contribution, which is 5.5%. Again, in addition to the Senate, there is other relief, such as what the Income Tax Act, okay, number one is child education. So if your ward, okay, you up to the child education gives a personal income tax relief for 3 children, okay, and they should not be more than 18 years.
So that's all. With the tax relief, does it how does the employee assess that relief? And is it being added to the net pay every month, or is just a one-time thing in the whole year?
Yeah, so that's a good question. First of all, the personal relief or the tax relief is not free. You know, the government.
It's not free.
So it's not automatic. Let me qualify. Thanks for the correction. It's not automatic. If you don't make an application, you don't enjoy it.
No, okay.
So first of all,
does it go for both private and
both yes,
public sectors?
Yeah, private and
all
public.
The teaching fields.
Or everybody, and most of our sisters and brothers in education, the teachers, they enjoy those reliefs.
Oh, really?
So yeah, they enjoy.
I know someone who never enjoyed that relief.
Oh, then that person should.
Oh,
you see, like I said, it's information, right? So we're dealing with ascertaining the chargeable income, and then as we are bringing the discussion down, what I want our cherished viewers to pick from today's discussion is that, so far as you are working as a self-employed or working as an individual, there is a tax for you to pay, and that tax is your income tax, and it is usually referred to as the payee. What the self-employed people don't do is that, because they don't keep proper set of accounts, because they earn all their money, they sell, they make their sales, and then they put it in their pockets, they only go and buy, and then that kind of thing. They don't go through that salary structure form, payroll proper. But the concept is what? The same. So the concept is that, first of all, if you are a self-employed person, okay, you are doing your own business, you should set some money aside as your what? Basic salary, meaning that you have to pay yourself, because all the revenue or all your sales that you make has to balance. You have to balance certain amount or certain expenditures in it, but you have to make sure that you put some money aside as your what? Basic salary, because it is on that the tax will what? Apply. If not, will tax your whole amount of revenue you've made. Okay,
Mr. Gyimah, so with all these taxes, looking at our country, especially in most rural areas, are we seeing the impact of those taxes in our schools, in our hospitals, on our roads? Because personally, I've been to some places where the roads are extremely poor, and the schools it's not anything to talk about. Are the taxes working for us as a country?
Yes, I would say yes or no. It's a yes or no affair, because like the GRA usually put it, your taxes are our future. Okay, like I said, taxes, contribution to taxes, okay, is a civic responsibility. I don't want to say payment of taxes, because but the relationship is that we, like I said, government revenue primarily comes from taxes, and for that matter, we must contribute to the developmental drive or agenda of government. This thing has to come in more political, because the monies that we collect as taxes, it goes into the consolidated fund. And when it goes to the consolidated fund, government has to come out with a budget, which we discussed that in the earlier submission. And in the budget, you see government programs, government projects. So like I said, it's a yes or no affair. Yes, centrally, because the money goes to central government coffers, which is the consolidated fund, government has to plan with the money. So you see government comes in, they are paying school fees through the free senior high school. Is there are taxes, okay? And then we see some roads being built here and there. Power, electricity, okay? If you follow the news, government contracted independent power producers, and our life should be sustainable. Again, restoration of teacher training allowances, nursing allowances. So all these things is what our monies are being used for. But because we are in Accra and there's a lot of developmental drive in Accra, okay, like we've been discussing, Ghana is virtually Accra.
Yeah.
Because if you are in Accra, you see everything. But when you go to the rural areas, you don't see most of the development that we see in Accra, you know, corresponding same in the rural areas. And that is a question that has to be addressed by our politicians, our MPs, our district assemblies, our MMDCs, and what have you. Because one way or the other, they also receive government grant. In the national budget, in the expenditure side, there's something called grant to other government units, which is metropolitan, municipal, and then what? District assemblies. Government.
Just hold it right there. From where you are going, I'm sure this is a whole different topic, and our time won't permit us to go into that. So our cherished viewers, we would come to the end of today's show, Talk With You on El Bebeto TV, and we will bring you a different discussion.
Before we wrap up, what I want our viewers to pick from our discussion today is that, first of all, we discuss the mechanism of what computing your taxes yourself, or if you are a worker, how your taxes are being what deducted. So that is what I want our cherished viewers to pick from our discussion today. I think we ran them through what the basic salary is, what cash allowances is, total cash emolument, arriving at the accessible income. Then we subject the accessible income to benefit in kind. We talked about the accommodation benefits and then motor vehicle benefits. Then we arrive at the accessible income. Then we subject it to what? Personal reliefs or tax reliefs. We talked about what? The Senate that we contribute. Then other reliefs that is being granted by the law, which is marriage or responsibility relief, child education, aged dependency, old age, and then disability relief. So these are the various relief options that is available to the individual, whether you are self-employed or you are in what? Formal employment. Then once you deduct all the reliefs from your accessible income, you now finally arrive at what? Your chargeable income or your taxable income. It is that taxable income that we are going to what? To tax. So the more you earn, the more you pay. Then we subject it to what we call the graduated what? Rate. A certain income is taxed as what? 0%, which is free. A certain income is taxed at the next 5%. A certain income is taxed at 10%, then 17, then 25, 30. So that is the rate of what? Tax. But like you said, time is fast spent.
Yes.
But I want our viewers to really get this for me.
I'm sure
to help them in planning
really
their
followed
taxes. That's right.
and gotten all the input of the information that we have put across today. And for me, I'm happy to pay my taxes, but some of them I would try and avoid it because taxes on my income, in fact, is a lot.
It's a big deal for you.
It's too much for me.
What we also have to do is that we have to hold our government accountable. If I say government, what do I mean, or who those are referred to? Starting from the district level, our assemblymen, to the DCs, to MCs, to regional ministers, coming to, you know, state ministers and what have you. I mean, we know the hassle and the pain, the struggles of the ordinary Ghanaian trying to contribute to taxes. It's not easy. So far as at least we are contributing our quota, once they receive the money, they should plan it and use it judiciously to the benefit of all Ghanaians. I think that's what that we want. We want to see our hospitals functioning. We want to see our roads fixed so that we can drive smoothly. Once
schools.
people can, exactly, our schools. The government is doing well in free SHS. I mean, that's a fantastic policy. I believe one day we'll have time and talk about the achievement in the free SHS sector. It's wonderful. Initially, I didn't actually get a concept, but I've seen people in the rural areas like you rightly mentioned, and they were able to make straight 8As because of free SHS. So these are the things that we want to be seeing our taxes do for us. Our hospitals are running efficiently and effectively, our roads fixed, we have sustainable power, and these are what I refer to as the enabling environment. One government, do that for us, we are good to go, and I believe that we can move our country forward.
That's good. Thank you very much, Mr. Gyimah.
Thank you for having me.
As Ghanaians, we also have a part to play in paying our taxes or in contributing to taxes in the country for the entire development.
Yeah, just one more. Now, payment of taxes are online, it's digital. So our viewers should also watch out for, let me say, people who come in to help them. Now you have to log in online and all that. So once they need assistance, they should visit the nearest GRA offices, and then the accountants that are also helping them, or the tax advisors that are also helping them. Now they can do everything by themselves with just some help. Yeah.
Wow, that's quite easy.
Yes, for the convenience, one of the effective or good characteristic of an effective tax system should be convenient. I don't see the reason why going to pay taxes I should suffer, or I should struggle. It's a contribution. So you should put
my own, when I have my own business.
Yes, now you can pay taxes with Momo, you can pay taxes online, you can file online and all that. That is the level we have moved to. Now we are going to the digital space. So taxes has actually moved from excellence, that's right. Exactly. So we've moved from the manual tax system. So if you are still dwelling in the manual, I mean, you are way behind. Now we are digital. So yes, and that is what we want our government to be doing. Once we contribute to them, they should also provide the infrastructure, the platform, the networks. That is the symbiotic relationship government has with its people.
All right, our cherished viewers, we've come to the end of the show for today, and this is El Bebeto TV, and your host is Bella Bell. We'll bring to you another beautiful episode on taxes very soon, Mr. Gyimah, right?
Yes. Taxes, so and then the economy.
More about the economy, more about the direct and the indirect taxes, and there are so many other things about tax that we need to know and to educate us on. So stay tuned and give us your comments in the comment section, both on YouTube and on Facebook. We've come to the end of today's show, and this is your host Bella Bell on El Bebeto TV. We'd like to thank our sound man, our cameraman, our producer, and our lovely guest, Mr. Gyimah, for enlightening us more on tax. And we'll come again to your screens very soon.